Hey YouTubers, it's Arthur from TheVaultProScooters, and today we're going to be discussing all the different scooter grinds. There's FEEBLE, Smith, BOARDSLIDE, LIPSLIDE, Hurricane, SUGARCANE, Double Peg, 50/50, ICEPICK, TOOTHPICK, 5-0, OVERCROOK, crook grind, NOSEBLUNT, and a crooked grind, as well as a WILLY grind. The first grind we're going to be talking about is the FEEBLE grind. The FEEBLE grind is when the front wheel is rolling on top of the ledge or rail that you're grinding and your back dropout is grinding pretty much on the edge of it. You can do them with or without pegs. When you have pegs on, it's pretty much going to be the same thing, which is your front wheel is going to be rolling on top of the ledge or the actual rail. And like I said, if you had pegs, the peg would be grinding instead of your rear dropout. The second grind we're going to be talking about is the Smith grind. The Smith grind is when the front part of your deck is actually grinding. That's the front part that's right behind the front wheel, and your back wheel is actually rolling on the actual ledge or rail. It can be done with pegs. Pegs would pretty much be the same thing, which would be the back wheel that rolls on top of the ledge and your front peg actually grinds on instead of the front part of the deck. The third grind we're going to be talking about is a board slide. A board slide pretty much consists of you approaching a ledge or a rail and making sure that your front and back wheel do not rub or touch the ledge. If you're grinding a ledge, a rail, they wouldn't touch. It's pretty much going to be just the deck itself sliding. The fourth grind we're going to be talking about is a lip slide grind. A lip slide grind is pretty much similar to a board slide where both wheels do not touch, except with a lip slide you're approaching it on the opposite side of the actual obstacle. So your back wheel, when you hop into the grind, has to pass over the obstacle, then again lock into the actual grind and grind out. The next grind we're going to be talking about is a hurricane. A hurricane is similar to a board slide. You approach the rail or the obstacle on the same side as you would with a board slide, but what ends up happening is you end up tweaking your body and twisting it so that your front wheel is behind you and your back wheel is in front of you, making sure to lock in the back dropout and the front dropout. If the actual grind isn't locked in, then it's pretty much called hot garbage, and it's similar to a hurricane, but you're pretty much just not locked in the back and the front. Our next grind we're going to be talking about is a sugarcane. A sugarcane is a combination of a lip slide and a hurricane. What you want to do is you want to approach the actual rail or obstacle on the opposite side as if you were going into a lip slide. Jump, have the back end wheel pretty much go over the rail, then you're actually going to be spinning a lot more, being that you're going to have to lock into the hurricane, so you're going to pivot your body more than you usually would for the lip slide, causing you to go into a sugarcane, and then you just half cab out. The next grind on the list is a double peg. A double peg grind is pretty much self-explanatory. It consists of your pegs on one side, pretty much hopping and grinding only that side on the actual ledge or rail, and you just roll out. The next grind on the list is a 50/50 grind. A 50/50 grind is really similar to a double peg grind, but it's without pegs. You pretty much completely remove your pegs and you're pretty much only grinding on the side of the actual deck itself. An ICEPICK grind is pretty simple in terms of what it consists of. It consists of pretty much you grinding on your back peg and in a manual position. So you approach the ledge and just let the back peg lock in, staying in a manual position, grinding through the ledge or rail, landing and rolling away. A toothpick grind. A toothpick grind pretty much is similar to an ICEPICK, but the difference is that the toothpick is in the front versus the back. So it's not a manual, it's a nose manual. So technically you approach the ledge and lock in the front peg and leave the back pretty much in the air, grinding through the actual ledge or rail and rolling away. A 5/0 grind. A 5/0 grind is similar to an ICEPICK, but the difference is that you don't have the rear peg at all. You're pretty much grinding on the back dropout of your deck. So you pretty much grind on the back dropout in a manual position off the ledge or rail. The next grind on our list is an overcrook. An overcrook is pretty much the equivalent of pegless toothpick. What it is you're pretty much grinding on the front part of your deck, which is right behind the front wheel, except with the overcrook, you're pretty much at a 45-degree angle, letting the back of the wheel hang over the actual obstacle or ledge that the rail or ledge that you're grinding, and then that's pretty much the overcrook. A crook grind. The crook grind is pretty much similar to an overcrook, except for the wheel has to be on the other side of the actual obstacle, so it's preferred to be done on rails. I'm not sure if it can be done on ledges, just like I said, because of that reason of the wheel being on the other side of the actual obstacle, the rail, sorry, and your back wheel being, or the rest of the deck being away from the obstacle you're grinding, instead of leaning over, and that's pretty much the crook. The next grind on the list is a nose blunt grind. A nose blunt grind, pretty much another pegless grind. It consists of you grinding on the front end of your deck, right behind the wheel. It's similar to an overcrook, except the difference between the overcrook and the actual nose blunt is that in a nose blunt grind, you're at a 90-degree angle, and with the overcrook, you're at a 45. With the nose blunt, again, you want to pretty much have your front wheel facing forward in the back end or your deck itself, hovering above the actual ledge or rail that you're grinding. The next grind we're going to be talking about is the crooked grind. A crooked grind can be done with or without pegs. It pretty much consists of the front part of your deck locking in. For instance, for example, we're going to use the right side, the front right side of your actual your deck, and the back left side. So you pretty much approach the obstacle, lock in those two, making sure they're both locked in, the back and the front, and there you have it, your crooked grind. The last grind we're going to be talking about is a willy grind. I'm not really too familiar with the willy grind. It pretty much consists of, it's similar to a FEEBLE, except it's done on a rail, and it's pretty much, I haven't seen it done, but it's kind of the front half of your deck that's grinding, as well as your front wheel rolling on the actual rail itself. And that's a willy grind. All these grinds they can be changed pretty much, variations can be added, pretty much front side, back side variations. With the front side variation, it's pretty much you approach the actual the ledge or rail with your toes pointing it, and with the back side, you approach it with your heels pointing towards the actual ledge or the rail. You can also do these actual tricks in switch, which just pretty much means you switch your stance, or you can do them in fakie, overside, and underside. Overside just pretty much means what side you're grinding on. For instance, it's not really common, but for instance, an underside double peg would pretty much be if you're approaching a quarter pipe and you do your normal backside spin, but you lock in the pegs on the actual coping with your wheels on top of the coping instead of underneath it, and you're pretty much leaning into the actual quarter pipe, and then you hop back in. That's pretty much what underside is. It's not really common. It is a really awesome trick if you can do it. I hope this video has helped you in terms of learning more grinds and learning how to approach grinds. If you have any questions, concerns, be sure to comment below. Please like, subscribe. Till next time.